Welcome back to the second part of the third tier of the 13-part massive/deepest YouTube iceberg with over 1,000 entries. I don't really have an intro planned out, so let's just get into it. Crank That, Soulja Boy. This is a song and music video created by Soulja Boy, which is notable for two reasons. One, it was what basically made Soulja Boy popular, and two, it started the first viral dance trend on YouTube. Charlie the Unicorn. This is a series created by the YouTuber Film Cow, who also created Llamas with Hats. Why the creator of the iceberg didn't just put them both in as one entry in the form of the channel, I don't know. But regardless, this series is a lot less graphic than Llamas with Hats, but still kind of graphic. Basically, it's about this unicorn named Charlie, obviously, who's in this whimsical fantasy world with these other two unicorns who keep begging Charlie to go on adventures with him and do all these whimsical stuff, like try and climb a candy mountain. But Charlie just does not want to do it and is purely apathetic, but he goes with them anyways, and usually ends up getting tortured in some way in the episode. In each episode, whether that be getting his kidney stolen or his horn ripped off or something like that. The series only had 4 episodes initially. Then, weirdly, the creator just decided to make a sequel to it 10 years later, which is 40 minutes long, which is twice as long as all the other episodes combined for some reason, and it adds a story to the whole thing about it. Adds a whole story to the thing about the two unicorns that were pestering Charlie actually being demons from this other realm, and Charlie being the only one who can stop it, and recontextualizes the whole series as being about being against forms of fake happiness, I guess. I don't know. It kind of seems like they were trying to apply a meaning to something that didn't really have meaning to begin with. I mean, it's still funny. It's still good. But yeah, it's a sort of dark comedy series. Moymoy Palaboy. This is a YouTube channel run by two brothers who lip-sync themselves to various songs comedically. Their channel was extremely popular in the early days of YouTube, especially with their lip-sync cover of the song Marimar, and caused several parodies of their videos, usually animated MMD parodies. Their videos were especially popular amongst the Spanish-speaking side of YouTube, due to most of the songs they covered being in Spanish. Viacom lawsuit/content ID. Note, I would like to state here that I am not a legal professional, nor is this meant to be an in-depth exploration of this legal case. It's just a very brief rundown of it in layman's terms to talk about this entry on the iceberg. So, in 2007, Viacom attempted to sue YouTube for $1 billion because people were re-uploading clips from their TV shows and movies to YouTube, and they felt like that was violating their copyright. And as such, YouTube implemented the Content ID system to combat this, which was a system that basically gives copyright owners better control over things that violate their copyright, whether this be through making money from videos that violate their copyright or taking them down completely. And this system is still what YouTube uses to enforce copyright law to this day. But this was not a good enough solution for Viacom, who still wanted $1 billion. And so YouTube kept fighting them in the court. Eventually, Viacom demanded that YouTube turn over basically all of the data of its users, which was of course private info that most people agreed that they did not want being handed over to Viacom. And a bunch of YouTubers all made videos saying, "Hey, please don't do this. We want to keep our information private." And as such, YouTube eventually managed to convince Viacom to basically allow them to at least keep the data anonymous before giving it to Viacom. Outside of this minor victory, the court case was very much in Viacom's favor, as Viacom was the bigger company, and $1 billion would have easily bankrupted YouTube if Viacom had actually won. Fortunately, though, Viacom made one small mistake that ultimately led to YouTube winning the case in 2014 without losing any money. And as for what this mistake was, Viacom, before trying to sue YouTube for $1 billion, attempted to use YouTube as a marketing tool by uploading their own clips from their own TV shows and movies to the platform, but not officially, What they did was they wanted these clips to look as unofficial as possible. They decreased the quality in the clips. They uploaded them to channels that were completely unassociated with Viacom, just like random puppet channels. And they even went as far as to upload them from separate locations from their headquarters so no one could trace them back down to Viacom. This caused them a little bit of a problem when they were trying to sue YouTube for illegally uploading their videos and breaking copyright law. It led to YouTube deleting several of the videos Viacom had placed themselves of their own content on YouTube, and then Viacom having to go back and ask YouTube to put these videos back on because they had made them. And because of this, the judge ruled that if Viacom couldn't even keep track of which videos they had uploaded to the platform themselves, it was ridiculous to expect YouTube to be able to do it. And as such, YouTube ended up winning the case. Real demons caught on tape. To quote this video's description, real paranormal activity, scary hands coming out of ceiling, hands coming out of the walls, hand demoned. Which, it's a pretty accurate description of the video. It's a guy filming in this dark house, and a bunch of these like phantom hands start crawling out of the walls and ceiling. And at the end of the video, they all merge into this one hand demon that then charges at him as the video ends. MisterDavie. MisterDavie is an animator who creates My Little Pony animations, and also one Sonic animation, which I'll get to in a second, but mostly My Little Pony animations. What separates him from other My Little Pony animators is the fact that his animations are extremely gory, to the point where almost all of them have been deleted from YouTube, at least in the original upload of them have. Of course, re-uploads still exist somewhere on the platform. The two animations he's most well known for are Cupcakes, which is a recreation of a My Little Pony creepypasta about Pinkie Pie kidnapping Rainbow Dash and then torturing and dissecting her, set to this one heavy metal song for some reason. I mean, the video is, not the creepypasta. And the other being Smile, which is a song that I believe is actually from My Little Pony, but with the animation that plays during the song being one of Pinkie Pie just completely slaughtering all of the main six in just a ridiculously over-the-top and gory way. And as for that Sonic animation, it's really soft-core Sonic and Sally Rule 34. I don't know why. It's somehow it's also one of the only ones that didn't get taken down from his channel. Pruane2 Forever. This is a YouTuber who originally went by the name Pruane2. He made videos where he just talked about general stuff, like his opinions on movies and TV shows, and there wasn't any real specific theme for like what his channel was about. Eventually, he made a video where he complained about the problem that YouTube was having with Poon comments and like links to Poon sites. And this is fine on its own. However, and most people were fine with this on its own, but what happened was he also insulted a lot of people who watch Poon, which made a bunch of people who watch Poon really upset at him. And because of the fact that he has this giant gap between his two front upper teeth, he was a very easy target to make fun of. And he was also featured on the TV show Attack of the Show, which caused him to get a ton of attention, much of it being negative. Eventually, the harassment that he received got to a point where he deleted his channel. But he came back shortly afterward on a new channel, Pruane2 Forever. Here he sort of embraced like the persona of people hating him a lot more than he had on the previous channel. And he also started making comedy sketches. As well as reviews of music, which he was often very critical and harsh towards. He eventually made a video making fun of the rapper 50 Cent, which led to 50 Cent actually reaching out to him and the two of them having a collaboration with each other, which brought a significant boost of views to his channel and was one of the most memorable moments in early YouTube's history. Eventually, though, his views slowly died down over time as people got tired of making fun of him, and he eventually deleted his channel and has left YouTube and has never returned since. Fred Figglehorn. This is a character created and played by Lucas Crookshank, who is a YouTuber, that named his channel after the character Fred. Fred is like this elementary school child that speaks in like a really high pitched voice, and the main joke in the series is that like a lot of dark things keep happening to him, like his mom being a prostitute and him never being able to see his dad and stuff like that. But he's just like really innocent and doesn't understand any of it, and that's basically the main joke of the series. That and also his really high pitched voice. He became extremely popular, becoming the first YouTuber to reach 1 million subscribers, and for a time, he was the most subscribed channel on YouTube. He managed to get an entire movie trilogy made out of him and an entire TV show on Nickelodeon. But as time went on, he kind of became less popular over time, and eventually he left the channel, sold it to some random person that just bought it and just uploads advertisement crap on it now, and ended the character of Fred, though he still makes content as himself from time to time, and even as Fred from time to time, though usually he's himself now. Petscop. Petscop is a YouTube channel which hosts an unfiction video series of the same name, run by Tony Domenico. The series is told in a really unique way, which is through a game that Tony himself programmed. It's not a game that like the public is free to play as they wish. It's a game that solely he owns and he's used for the purposes of the series and nothing else. The series follows this guy named Paul as he discovers this game and starts playing through it. And it starts off pretty normal with him just trying to catch these like animals, and it's sort of like Pokemon, but if it was a puzzle game. However, after he inputs this code, he ends up discovering this area called the Newmaker Plain, and from there, things start turning very unnerving and creepy. As the series progresses, Paul continues discovering more and more of the hidden areas of the game, which start slowly unraveling into this very convoluted and complex story that can really only be interpreted if you understand like a ton of Easter eggs and secrets and really analyze it a lot, like really overanalyze it. He eventually also discovers this like AI character, and as the series progresses, it starts being divided into videos of Paul himself actually playing the game and videos of like other people having played the game in the past in the form of demo footage. And the YouTube channel eventually gets taken over not by Paul but his family, who start like basically forcing him to play through the game. And eventually he also finds like this AI of this guy named Marvin, which I will now attempt to recount the story of Petscop to the best of my ability. Basically, there's like a timeline mergence which causes Marvin in the real world, Marvin's friend Lena, to disappear. And because of this, he basically kidnaps his daughter Care after he loses custody of her and attempts to rebirth her as Lena. And this ends up traumatizing her. And from there, Care starts seeing Paul from the other universe. Like basically they start like merging and seeing things from the other's perspective. And eventually Paul then discovers Petscop, a game created by Rainer, who's also related to them, and he created the game basically to get revenge on Marvin. And then Paul and his friend Tiara, who's really smart and helps him solve a bunch of puzzles in the game. And eventually, by the end of the series, they end up using this this needle that's able to play music to merge the timelines, I think. And then he leaves the family. Also, that was a very rough summary of the plot. I'm gonna be honest, I barely understand any of it. Taya777/YouTube checkpoints. Taya777 is a YouTube channel that uploads video game OSTs extended to 15 minutes or an hour, with all their titles being in Japanese. One video on their channel stood out much more than any of the others, that being the video Spiky Barrel Maze 1 Hour, Super Donkey Kong Country 2. The video is no different from the other videos. It's just the song that the title says, extended to 1 hour, over this image taken directly from the game of this growing thorny vine structure in the clouds, which looks quite peaceful. And for whatever reason, this is that one of those videos that the YouTube algorithm just decided to recommend to everyone. And because of the peaceful nature of the music and the image that accompanies it, people started joking about this place being the sort of checkpoint of the internet where people would stop and rest. And because of that, people started uploading checkpoint save comments on the video, which where they would basically just go over their life story, explain their hardships and struggles that they've had to go through, and how they're going to deal with the future, how optimistic they are about it, stuff like that. And they would just comment these personal details out into this video section for this random videos comment section for anyone to see. It was really beautiful. And this kind of started a trend where people would start commenting these on various other similar videos, and start making those videos into checkpoints as well. That being said, the Donkey Kong Country 2 Sky Barrel one is still the most popular YouTube checkpoint, or was the most popular YouTube checkpoint, because big old Nintendo had to show up to spoil everyone's fun and strike the entire channel down because it was uploading copywritten music. Thankfully, the video has been re-archived and re-uploaded. And the checkpoint still exists, but all those people who commented down all this important personal information and their life stories and all that, yep, it's all gone just because Nintendo had to be a greedy piece of shit. Literal music videos. This refers to a trend that was really popular in the early days of YouTube. It's still done now, but nowhere near as frequently. And what this trend entailed was people would take a music video and they'd sing it, but they'd replace the lyrics with lyrics that described what was happening in the music video literally, and would typically do so in a comedic manner as well. Pirated content / free download videos. So remember how in the last part I mentioned that you can find full movies on YouTube? Well, most of those full movies, at least in that entry, were referring to like movies that are like legally uploaded by the people that own them. But unsurprisingly, there's also pirated movies that have been uploaded to YouTube against the will of their copyright owners. And typically, to avoid YouTube's copyright detection system, these videos will have to employ some like anti-copyright measures, whether that be decreasing the quality of the video or overlaying audio on top of it, freezing the video up every once in a while, or like zooming in and out the camera, stuff like that, that just makes the movie more unwatchable, but harder to detect. And as for the other part of this entry, the free download videos, sometimes if you like search for a movie and then you search full download after it, or even if you just search for the movie, you'll find videos which look to be the same length as the movie you're searching for, but when you click on them, it's actually just some looping GIF for however long, and then in the description is a link to a sketchy, totally not virus-covered website that will allow you to download and watch the movie for free. Reply Girls. Reply Girls was a subgenre of YouTube video created in the early days of YouTube by a woman named Alejandra. Alejandra found a YouTube exploit, which involved her finding a video that was already popular, copying the title, tags, and various other things related to the metadata of the video, and pasting it into her video so that it would get recommended alongside that video. Then she would wear something revealing in both the video and thumbnail to get people to be more likely to click on it, and from there, she would just profit. Several other women and people who owned bots started taking notice of this, and the women became reply girls of their own, and the bots started stealing other reply girls' videos and posting them and spamming them to the website. This became a major problem, as it basically just caused you to get filled up with all these reply girl videos. Just on any video you clicked on, there would be a reply girl replying to it. And because of this, YouTube had to implement a system to get rid of them. The system that they implemented was the watch time system that makes videos more highly recommended based on how long people watch the video for. A system that YouTube still uses to this day, and one which completely changed the landscape of YouTube when it was initially uploaded, and ended up killing several small animation channels and comedy sketch channels as a consequence. Pony.MOV. This is an animated series created by the YouTuber Hot Diggity Demon. It's a mature My Little Pony parody which follows the main characters of the show as they fight off against this demon, but that's more of like a subplot of this show series. The main point of it is to explore and make fun of each of the main characters, except the parody versions of them Hot Diggity Demon created, rather than the real versions. So now, Twilight is a complete dumbass. Spike is a stoner. Rarity is a slave owner. Pinkie Pie is a washed-up celebrity that does poon now. Fluttershy is a psychopath who unalives people. Rainbow Dash is gay, and Applejack isn't really changed that much as far as I know. She just kind of gets sucked into a vortex at the beginning of the series and never reappears until the end of it. Obviously, because it was based off of My Little Pony, despite the fact that it was a mature animation, several kids ended up seeing it and ended up getting traumatized by certain aspects of it, namely the Fluttershy being a psycho unaliver. That's the main thing. Shoes. This is a video created by comedian Liam Kyle Sullivan. The video is him putting on the persona that sort of makes fun of the stereotypical American teenage girl that only cares about shopping. The video was originally uploaded to his website, where it begins with a comedy sketch that then transitions into a music video about the girl shopping for shoes. However, when he uploaded it to YouTube, he uploaded just the music video portion, which then became super popular and went viral. And so then he uploaded it again with the comedy sketch. Rebecca Black Friday. So there's this music company called Arc Music Factory, which is run by the H3 stalker Patrice Williams. Which, holy shit, I was way too not harsh enough on him on the previous tier of the iceberg. Yeah, he's a complete and total creep. But so he made his company was basically like rich people could pay to have their kids to put their kids in a music video, and they were obviously like really low quality, terrible music videos. And one of these, which was of course Friday, starring Rebecca Black, became super popular because it was like really low quality, even by the standards of his videos. And it has really weird lyrics, just horribly cringy auto tune, and the lyrics don't make any sense because she's like a middle schooler, but it's about her like going to the club. And the main chorus is so repetitive and annoying. And because of this, the internet absolutely tore it to shreds, and she became the laughing stock of the internet for several years, to the point where she received tons of bullying and harassment. Though she later was able to become like an actual like legitimate music artist and like sort of bounce back from that. And now she's like a queer icon as well. And she even made a remix of Friday, which is a hyperpop remix of it. Angry German Kid. This is another early viral video, which was originally created by Norman Chow Chuck Kochanowski. It was originally uploaded under the name PC Spielen, and the video was him making fun of like people that got way too invested in video games, and it involves him destroying his computer's keyboard and screaming really loudly. The video was obviously a comedy sketch. Salad Fingers / David Firth. David Firth is an animator known for having a very disturbing style of animation, and his most well-known series is Salad Fingers, which was originally created on Newgrounds but then later uploaded to YouTube. Salad Fingers is a 12-part series with more parts undoubtedly coming out in the future. And they star this green zombie-like character called Salad Fingers. The main horror of the series comes from how just disgusting everything is. There's just a lot of blood and bodily fluids and just various just grotesquely animated things. Like for example, like a scene where Salad Fingers stabs his hand onto a rusty nail. His finger onto a rusty nail. And he wanders around in this sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland, and interacts with various, like, occasionally he'll interact with like a living being, but he mostly interacts with all these inanimate objects, whether those be puppets or that he like plays with and acts like they're their own characters, or a horse that he sends one of the puppets at to rip its intestines out, or a dead dog that he has relations with. Um yeah, it's pretty weird. There have been people who have tried to theorize about the true meaning of the series, including MatPat, who hilariously got called out by David Firth himself, who said that the theory was wrong, and then MatPat did not acknowledge that at all in his second Salad Fingers theory. So that's very funny. But I personally like the interpretation that there isn't really any meaning, and it's just kind of disturbing, grotesque imagery for the sake of being disturbing, grotesque imagery. Single Ladies. This is a song created by Beyonce, which, like, Crank That, which I mentioned in, like, actually at the start of this part, if I'm not mistaken, um, had a dance associated with it, and a bunch of parodies and recreations of the dance got made, including, of course, the amazing All the Single Furries. Dr. Octogonapus. This is a character from the web series The Laser Collection, which is a series of jokes that all center around Shoop de Whoop. With Dr. Octogonapus being, of course, a bastardization of Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man. And he shouts his name, and he then shoots out a laser beam, as you could expect. And it became like a much bigger meme than just the Laser Collection, and was used in a lot of YouTube videos outside of the Shoop de Whoop jokes and the Laser Collection. Little Baby's Ice Cream. This is a special time. Little Baby's Ice Cream is a now defunct ice cream selling business, which was known for making extremely creepy advertisements, which are often regarded as some of the creepiest advertisements of all time. Their most well known one is, of course, This Is a Special Time, which has this man who's completely covered in ice cream and is just staring at you with these bloodshot eyes as he slowly uses a scooper to scoop ice cream from his head, from on top of his head, and eats it. And this voice in the background is just telling you in this creepy, almost psychotic tone about how good Little Baby's ice cream is and how it will make you feel happy and make your skin clean. And all this is set to creepy carnival music. I Like Turtles. This one is another early viral video. So this news reporter was at at some sort of fair, and she asked this kid who had gotten his face paint done to look like a zombie what he thought about his face paint, and he responded with "I like turtles," which someone clipped that, put it on YouTube, and because of just how abrupt it is, it got super popular. Filthy Frank. Filthy Frank was a YouTuber who made comedy sketches featuring a variety of characters all played by himself, with the most well known of these being Pink Guy. He wasn't super successful to start off with, however, once he made the video Harlem Shake, he became super popular, as Harlem Shake became another early YouTube viral dance trends, except this one being much more popular than all of the ones previously mentioned. And from here, he grew like an actual audience and was able to keep making videos on a higher and higher budget. His videos were things that would definitely get nuked off of the platform today, as they included like offensive content and gross out humor and like just generally raunchy and dirty stuff in it. But this was before the adpocalypse and before YouTube started actually cracking down on that kind of content, so he was pretty much free to make it whenever and however he wanted. And his content is often seen as being like the peak of the golden era of YouTube. Eventually, though, in late 2017, once YouTube did start enforcing its policies more, Filthy Frank quit YouTube with like one final video that wraps up like the stories of all his characters, and now he makes music under the new name Joji. Fedoras Are Awesome. This is a video which contains 5 people in it, one of whom is like the leader of the group, and he looks like the embodiment of Reddit, but he wears a fedora and they sing this incredibly cringy song about fedoras and how awesome they are. And for some reason they also sing about bananas. I have no idea why, but yeah, it's super cringy and it's been made fun of a lot, but the guy strangely hasn't turned off the comment section, and that's honestly It's honestly very impressive.
They're awesome. Fedoras, 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 they're awesome. Fedoras are awesome. Fedoras are awesome. Fedoras.
Rocking chair scary pop-up. This is one of the most iconic jump scare videos on YouTube. It's a short 30-second video which starts with some text telling the viewer to look very closely at the screen to see the ghost better and to turn their volume up to hear the ghost better. And then it shows you the video of a rocking chair. After a few seconds, the rocking chair starts rocking back and forth on its own. And then the ghost girl from the grunge charges at the screen and a loud screamer noise plays. Username 666/Nana825763. This is one of the earliest horror videos on YouTube's platform, and it's a video of someone who searches for username 666 and nothing comes up, but then they keep reloading the search results, and eventually the screen starts gradually turning redder and redder and more like it starts becoming fleshy almost, and eyes start appearing all around it. And then eventually the channel pops up and they click on the video, and it's this really creepy lady who's covered in jelly, and she's trying to like burst her way out of the screen and is like banging on the YouTube video as sort of like to mimic the appearance of her banging on the screen and trying to come out. And it's really well edited for when the video came out, that being in like 2006. And while that's the most well-known thing the channel was known for, Nana, the channel has uploaded several horror videos since then. Like, one of the most well-known of these is Poco Poco Shopping, which is this video where it's this video where like it starts off with this cute, colorful, almost child's room like set with these two dolls trying to sell all these demonic products, and as the video goes on everything just gets more and more demonic and burned up. And then there's a sequel to username 666 called None. One of the most well-made videos on the channel is My House Walkthrough, where she basically set up this like hallway, and then when she starts the video, she says that there's a storm going on and that she's going to show you her house, but then she walks back and forth through the hallway just multiple times, continually repeating the same phrases that it's the longest hallway in her house. And as she keeps walking back and forth, it becomes more and more decayed, more and more covered in flesh. It's very, very interesting. It's almost like I remember I watched a video where Wendigoon and another YouTuber, I forgot who he was, but they were like talking about the video on Wendigoon. He said it felt like a dream, as though he remembered watching it, but he wasn't sure if it was real. And that's probably the best way I could describe it, because there's no jump scares in it. It's just there's no out in your face horror. It's just this slow, creepy walkthrough of the house and just progressively descends into hell. And then there's another video called Mr. East Loves Mom, which is a bunch of censored poon and with a bunch of creepy glitchy effects built onto it. It's all these videos I'm telling you about are only like a fraction. They're just like the surface of this channel's videos, though. They only have 15, but these ones were some of my favorites. There's also like a presence of babies and ants in a lot of the videos, as well as creepy dolls. I don't know if that's really that's a specific thing that's just like an aesthetic that she likes, or just because she had ants and because she had a creepy doll to use. And surprisingly, she doesn't just create horror videos. She also created this one video where she constructed this giant picture of like this sort of line artwork over the course of multiple months. And then she created a time lapse of her making it, and then at the end of that time lapse, she just burns the entire thing down. And she has a Minecraft playthrough series, which is unique in the sense that it's basically a completely blind playthrough of Minecraft, where she has no idea how to do anything and gets no help the entire time, which is very interesting and also incredibly weird that that's on the same channel. She's also making a horror game and uploads multiple videos showing the creation process of that horror game. And she raised an ant farm and shows several videos of her, taking care of the ant farm and like updates on it. But of course, I could not talk about this channel and username 666 without talking about the recent watch Easter egg. So this is not on the iceberg, but I had to talk about it. It came up after the iceberg was created, so I kind of have to talk about it here. No, I don't fully understand this, but you're gonna have to. So this is it explained to the best of my knowledge. So for a time, you could go to YouTube's search bar, delete H from watch, press enter, and then you'd be taken to a video titled 666, which was a segment from username 666 with likely spinning fetuses. And the reasoning behind this was there was a YouTuber who was in a Discord where people would bet cryptocurrency to see how well YouTube videos would do. And he basically cheated the system because there used to be a feature in YouTube where if someone searched for your channel, you could make it so that instead, if someone directly pasted your channel name into the URL, instead of going to your channel, you could set it to redirect them to a specific video you made. This was a feature that does not exist anymore, but old channels that were created around the time still have the ability to use that feature. So he changed the URL of his channel to match up with the URL of just YouTube in general, minus the H in watch, and then set the video, create a re-upload of a short segment from username 666 on his channel, and then set his channel so that when you searched for it, it would automatically redirect you to that video. Then he created a meme saying, oh, step 1, remove H from the YouTube bar, step 2, search, and then, a creepy, like, troll face or something to imply that something spooky was going to happen. And he spread the meme around, people started looking at it, they started testing it out for themselves, seeing that it was real, and it spread like wildfire, and the video did super well as a result, and he presumably got a ton of money after that. YouTube then patched the whole thing out a few days later, but yeah. There was also a similar video that was like a Minecraft Christmas video that would also appear if you delete one of the letters, but it was just related to the other guy, like they were just friends with each other, and not that creepy or important. Double Rainbow. This one is another early YouTube viral video. It was made by a guy who was hiking on a mountain and spotted a double rainbow and then took his camera out and started filming it. The reason why the video got so popular, though, was because of the fact that he has an insane overreaction to seeing the double rainbow. Probably because he's high. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. Chocolate Rain. This is a song created by the music artist Tay Zonde, in which he sings in a very deep baritone voice. The video of him singing it also has a very ugly yellow background, and the combination of these two things with the fact that he allowed the video to be re-uploaded by anyone without being demonetized made the video become one of the first early viral videos.
Rain. The school books say it can't be here again. Chocolate rain.
Slenderman ARGs. So because Slenderman wasn't really like created by any one person and was sort of collectively thought up by multiple people across the internet, no one really owns Slenderman or the rights to use him as a character. And so because of this, in the peak of his popularity, a bunch of different people started creating ARGs, including him on their YouTube channels. The most well-known of these is Marble Hornets. Some other popular ones include Everyman Hybrid, Tribe 12, ML Anderson 0, and Dark Harvest 00. But there are way more. Like there's at least 30 of these things. And I'm gonna make a confession because this entry was about like the ARGs in general, not about any specific one, and also because of the fact that Marble Hornets is 8 hours long. I didn't watch any of these for the iceberg. I'm sorry. Leave Brittny alone. This is another early viral video, which was created by Chris Crocker. It was made shortly after Britney Spears performed at the 2007 MTV Music Awards. And basically, she received a lot of criticism for her performance there, and Chris made this video telling people to stop criticizing her and, to leave her alone, and made a fake emotional breakdown, and had pretended to have a fake emotional breakdown while doing so. Colin's bear animation. Colin was a student at the University of Ontario Institute of Technology. His final assignment in an arts and animation class was to create a short, simple animation using everything he learned throughout the class. The animation he created was one of a crudely animated bear that walks on screen in this black void, begins dancing to the song Funky Monkey Dance from Mother 3, then dances over an abstract image, then dances over a screenshot of Saturn Valley from Earthbound, and then finally dances over the Earth before the phrase "Thanks for nothing" pops up at the very end. He got an A for those who are wondering. Content farms. A content farm is a general term for a YouTube channel run by a company that massively favors quantity over quality, to the point where they'll basically just pump out tons of videos, like several a day, and the videos that they pump out are just they're garbage videos that pretty much exist to be as marketable as possible and to get as many clicks as possible, but no one really actually likes them. The biggest example of a content farm is 5 Minute Crafts, but there are plenty of other examples such as Screen Rant, Watch Mojo, BuzzFeed, The Things, The Richest, and many, many more. Most people hate them, and they're generally viewed as like a plague on YouTube, as all these videos they pump out that just get recommended at the top of YouTube's front page end up snuffing out so many like good videos by creators who actually care about what they're making. Daft Hands. This is a video of someone who wrote the lyrics to the song Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger by Daft Punk on their hands. And they wrote like each phrase of the lyrics onto a different part of their hands, and then moved their hands in sync with the music so that the lyrics on their hands would appear when said lyrics were spoken on in the song. This is a lot more impressive when the actual music is playing, but obviously I can't show that in the video. But yeah, you can see what's happening on screen. Man gets lost in the catacombs of Paris. So here's a little history lesson for you. Paris has several tunnels beneath it. These tunnels were originally constructed for the purposes of mining, and they were constructed somewhat haphazardly without anyone really mapping out the tunnels and which tunnel went where. But they were eventually abandoned. But after they were abandoned, Paris needed some place to put its bodies because the graves were just too small. So they ended up returning to the abandoned tunnels and reusing them now as a form of catacombs. And to this day, there are thousands of bodies within the catacombs, which have mostly decayed into bones by this point. So fast forward to the modern day, and these catacombs are now regarded as some sort of spooky place. Parts of it are available for the public to go into via guided tours that people can pay to go on, but most of these catacombs are illegal, and though you can enter them, you absolutely should not. And this is my legal disclaimer: do not go into the catacombs of Paris. They are unsafe. They are illegal. Don't do it. But apparently, the crew of the TV show Scariest Places on Earth did not get that, as in the year 2000, they created an episode about the Paris catacombs, an episode that would then later be uploaded to YouTube in 2 parts and lower quality, under the title Man Gets Lost in the Catacombs of Paris. The episode entails the TV show's crew meeting a professor named Friedland, someone who's an enthusiast of the tunnels. This professor shows them a tape that he supposedly found within the tunnels, and which was a tape recorded by someone else that went into the tunnels before him, and no one has been able to find who this person is. The tape shows the person walking through the tunnels for a little while, and it supposedly goes on for like several hours, but we only get to see 2 minutes of it. And of these 2 minutes, it shows him, walking through the tunnels, and then he hears something spooky, and he starts running, and ultimately drops the camera and continues running away. Some other stuff happens in the episode. The doctor and the crew go into the tunnels, but the main reason people remember this video is for that tape. And it's often debated what happened to this tape, whether this guy was scared of someone, like some monster in there, whether it was some person living in the tunnels, whether he just heard a loud noise and ran away, or the answer, which I think is the most likely, it's faked. I mean, this doctor claims to be really invested in trying to find out who made this tape, but if that was the case, why have we not seen the full 2-hour the full 2-hour tape instead of just a couple minutes of it? And also the whole thing about the guy running away and dropping his camera, it feels very staged. I just don't believe it. But hey, if you don't want to believe that and you want to believe that the tape is real, then go ahead. It's all you. Gangnam Style. This is a South Korean song created by the music artist Psy. And this, when it came out in 2012, this song was everywhere. It was impossible to escape parodies of this. And it became the most viewed video on all of YouTube, and the first video to hit 1 billion views. And it took 5 years for it to be surpassed by a new video, that being Despacito. To this day, it's still the 11th most viewed video on all of YouTube, and the 5th most viewed that isn't some Cocomelon-esque kids video. Koit. Koit is a Newgrounds and YouTube animator who makes 2D animations which feature gross-out humor, usually involving gore, genitals, or more frequently, poop. And lots of poop. That's the main reason I'm not showing anything here on screen. Yeah, don't watch this if you're squeamish. I'm just letting you know. Minecraft. Can we give a big shout out to the creator of this iceberg for making this the easiest entry to search for? Yeah, I kid you not, this video is literally just titled Minecraft. And the iceberg, for more vague entries similar to this one, does have like notes alongside some of them. Like for instance, later in the iceberg, I saw there's like an entry called Jack Torrance, and it has a note next to it saying, no, this is not referring to the character from The Shining. That just something like that would have been helpful next to this entry, but no. Thankfully, a Reddit post helped me find it. The video is the first video uploaded onto YouTube that displays Minecraft footage. And it's really short. It's only like a minute long, and all it shows is the guy like making a very basic rudimentary structure out of some dirt. And yeah, that's it. Honestly, most of this entry was just me talking about how hard it was to find the video. React World controversy. This is a controversy which revolves around the channel React, which is owned by the Fine brothers, and that's what everyone else refers to them as, and what I'll be referring to them as because it doesn't sound as dumb as React. They are responsible for creating pretty much creating the reaction genre on YouTube, specifically the Kids React series, and have made such classics as Kids React to K-pop, Kids React to Eminem, Kids React to Queen, Kids React to Osama bin Laden. But in 2016, they decided to create something called React World, which it's some big fancy program, but the gist of it was that they were trying to copyright the word React, and this would make it so that anyone who wanted to make reaction videos on YouTube would have to pay them a fee to actually be able to make these videos. And everyone, made fun of them and just collectively clowned on them for it because it's stupid. Why, you don't own the word React. And they had to make an apology video about it. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is a YouTube channel which hosts a video series of the same name. It was created by the This Is It collective, which initially made short films, but eventually moved on to creating the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared series. Well, originally it was going to be a short film as well, but the first episode ended up being so popular that they made it the first episode of a series. And it's easy to see why the first episode got so popular. It starts off as like just an ordinary kid show with these bright, colorful puppets in this bright, colorful background singing this cute little song about creativity. There are some weird moments, such as the part where the notebook that's teaching the three main characters, Red Guy, Yellow Guy, and Duck, just repeats what she said after one of the characters disagrees with her, or the part where she destroys Yellow Guy's painting, or the part where she tells Yellow Guy that his favorite color isn't creative. But then things go completely off the walls at the end when the music starts getting super loud and chaotic, and all the characters just start having basically spasms as they start running around. The footage becomes super sped up, and blood and guts are just smeared everywhere. And then it ends with the notebook saying, "Now let's all agree never to be creative again." As I said, the episode was so successful that they ended up creating a second episode around a year later. This one being about time, with the talking clock as the teacher, who is significantly more evil than the notebook from the previous episode, actively screaming at the characters until they bleed from their ears, and forcing them to watch themselves as they age rapidly. He's also a Tumblr sexy man for some reason. With the release of the second video came a series of promotional videos in which were basically about the characters getting kidnapped and it basically being a ransom note for them, and as a way of like inspiring people to donate money via a fundraiser in real life. And they ended up getting enough money and were able to keep making episodes at a rate of around one a year for 4 years. Holy shit, I forgot to mention the first episode came out in 2011. That's kind of important, sorry. But then they continue making episodes, starting with episode 3, which was about love, and is probably the least graphic episode of the series, as it barely features anything scary at all until the very end, when this little butterfly that's trying to teach a Yellow Guy about love ends up trying to indoctrinate him into a cult. and then like this creepy baby worm hops out of an egg. The 4th episode about computers, which is done partially in CGI. I mean, some of the other episodes were too, but this episode is like pretty much half in CGI. And in this episode, Red Guy sort of leaves the set of the episode and his mind gets literally blown. And then in the 5th episode, everything just comes crashing down as they try to get taught about healthy eating, and this giant steak and a bunch of other various kitchen things that are all sentient start trying to teach the main characters about eating. But their lesson makes absolutely no sense, is full of completely random, contradictory information, and the entire episode just basically falls apart before your eyes. And by the end of the episode, Yellow Guy is forced to eat duck. Long story. And then in the final episode, it starts off as just Yellow Guy being tortured by this lamp who's trying to teach him about dreams and forcing him to have nightmares about drowning in oil. But then it cuts to Red Guy, who's like working this boring dead-end job, and then he goes to a karaoke bar, starts singing the song from the first episode of the show, and then he ends up like discovering this big machine that's running the entire show, and this machine is being run by Yellow Guy's dad, and Red Guy shuts it down. There is a lot to say about the series. The themes of it are about, the themes of it are pretty obvious to see, at least on the surface. They're about like, kid shows being corrupted by advertisers, as most prevalently shown in the 5th episode when they're constantly trying to get the kids to eat, or get the main characters to eat like breaded grain products, which is a direct parallel to how, for some reason, the food pyramid had grain listed at the bottom, and solely because of what grain farmers were lobbying for, and not based on any actual scientific data. And there's a lot more you could pick out about like their critiques of kid shows if you wanted to go a lot more in depth to it. Obviously, I'm not going to go super in depth right here. And there's also a lot you could say about the story, but I'm not even going to slightly go into that because it actually hasn't ended. Despite the 6th episode coming out in 2016 being the final episode, in 2018, a trailer was released titled Wakey Wakey for a new series. This new series ended up having its pilot episode air at some film festival, but then the series got scrapped and completely reworked into another TV series, which aired just a few months ago last year. And I'm not going to say anything more about it other than the basic topics of each episode, which are jobs, death, family, friendship, transport, and electricity, respectively. I'm not going to say anything more about it because it's a really good show. Well, actually, I'll say a little more. It focuses a lot less on the horror aspect than the original series did, and focuses a lot more on comedy, and it is really funny. And I would really recommend anyone go watch it. It's only 6 episodes. They're only like 22 minutes long. I mean, there will obviously be a second season and more, probably. But please go watch it. Don't watch a summary of it. Like, actually go watch the TV show. It's really good. Caramelldansen. This is a Swedish Eurodance song, which was re-uploaded to YouTube with the music video of a bunch of anime girls dancing around on this like colorful disco dance floor. And yes, the lyrics are in Swedish, not Japanese, which a lot of people assumed. This one was another early viral video and one of the oldest memes on the internet. Click farms. Click farms are a sort of phenomenon non-specific to YouTube, but one where a large company, typically a content farm, will pay people minimum wage to basically just go online and click on links to their videos, click on advertisements, dislike people that are saying bad things about them, like people that are saying good things about them, so on and so forth. Ultimately, it's just another scummy way that large corporations try and snuff out independent creators on YouTube and make as much money as possible. And unfortunately, there's not really much YouTube can do about it. leokimvideo. leokimvideo is a toy review channel, one which primarily focuses on Thomas the Tank Engine. He has stated that his videos are family-friendly, but are not intended solely for kids. He has a series called The Dark Side where he looks at bootleg toys, again, specifically Thomas the Tank Engine ones, and then destroys them in some horrific way, either using a blender or a hammer or explosives. He also has a series focused on looking at the spiders around his house, and the thing he's probably most well known for, and probably the main reason he's on this iceberg, is his Mad Bomber video, which is a Thomas the Tank Engine parody that looks very similar to a real Thomas the Tank Engine episode, and is surprisingly well put together. And of course, it's about one of the trains being basically being like a slasher villain and and trying to off the other trains. Children interrupt BBC News interview. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a guy that's working for the BBC being interviewed about like South Korea or something from his house, and then two of his daughters, a toddler and a baby, and like one of those baby walkers, walk into the room, and then his wife runs in and pulls them out. And yeah, they thought it was funny, so they took the clip and uploaded it to YouTube. Creepy tape found in Croatia. So before I talk about this entry proper, I do want to say that on the iceberg it's listed as creepy tape found in Croatia, but the actual video is titled Creepy Tape Found in Croatia, parentheses, disturbing. You know a video is going to be disturbing when they have to tell you that it's disturbing in the title. Okay, I don't want to make fun of this one too much because it's basically a short found footage horror video made by a group of teenagers. The video opens with some text saying that this tape was found in Croatia, and the teenagers seen it have never been seen since. And then the actual video contains these two teenagers. They're walking around in the park, filming with their phone or like a camera or something. They see this guy in the distance. They make fun of him. He walks up. There's a bag covering his head, and he's walking weirdly. They think he's just some drunk old man with a weird face. But after he starts chasing them, they run away and they make their way back home. But they live on an apartment, and when they make it to the elevators of the apartment and hit a button to open the elevator, the guy is in the elevator already. And then there's a perfectly cut scream that is incredibly funny for some reason, and then the video gets cut off, and then there's a little bit of like distorted, unrecognizable imagery before the video ends. Wombo Combo. This is a video of a few seconds of gameplay from a Smash Bros. Melee competition in which a team playing as Falcon and Fox double teams another player playing as Fox, while one of the people playing on the winning team screams out,
"Happy feet! Wombo Combo! That ain't Falco! That ain't Falco!
Epic Sax Guy. So there's this band called the Sunstroke Project. They performed live at Eurovision, and during their performance, one of the band members started playing a few notes of a saxophone while thrusting, and people clipped it, re-uploaded it to YouTube, and it became another early viral video / early meme. And it was specifically used as sort of like an alternate version of the Rickroll called the sax rolling, which never achieved quite the same level of popularity as Rickrolling. It was also used as background music in various different montage videos, and it was featured in a ton of different remixes. Evolution of Dance. Another early viral video, just like half the entries on this tier. This one is a little bit more interesting than the others, though, mostly just because of the fact that I have no idea how this thing has managed to stay on the platform, because it has a ton of licensed music in it. But yeah, what this video is it's this guy on a stage, various different segments of popular songs play, and he provides a unique dance to each and every one of them that, is associated with how people would dance to that song. He transitions into them very fluidly, and it's just really impressive. You on Kazoo. So there's a series of low-quality VHS videos for kids called Brett and Friends, which features this kid named Brett Amber and, a bunch of other kids. One of these videos in particular is one called You on Kazoo, which is about basically, teaching kids to have fun with kazoos, I guess. The video is really low quality, has poor child acting, poorly dubbed audio, just generally a lot of really cringy stuff in it, and the combination of all these things meant that when people discovered a upload of it on YouTube, they took the piss out of it, and a bunch of reaction videos spawned, a bunch of YouTube poop spawned, a trap remix of it spawned, and between all these things, the video became immensely popular, and Brett Amber even resurfaced into popularity and has now become a sort of known actor. SkyDoesEverything versus Serious Nonsense. So SkyDoesEverything was a very popular Minecraft YouTuber starting in 2013. Their channel used to be called SkyDoesMinecraft, changed to SkyDoesEverything. Serious Nonsense is their ex-wife. who released a big document detailing a bunch of abuse allegations. I don't really want to get into that or go super in depth. It's just not what I want to do here. It's not like, it's not interesting. It's just another e-celebrity drama, not drama, but controversy. I just don't feel qualified to go into this. I don't want to go into this. Or I'm not going to linger on this very long, but basically serious nonsense. Just released big abuse allegations, which said that Sky, whenever they wouldn't take their bipolar medications, went on like big abusive like tirades, throwing things around. It was terrible. Again, I do not want to get super deep into this. You're welcome to go look this up on your own. But the long and short of it is this allegation was what ultimately led to the beginning. It was the major hit to Sky's reputation that began the downfall of their career. PopularMMOs versus Kouklista. So PopularMMOs is a YouTuber who initially created videos, about popular MMOs. Then he moved to Minecraft, and he started playing with his girlfriend, who would later become his wife, Jen. Then he and Jen divorced each other, and Jen left the channel, which meant that his viewership greatly declined, as one of the main reasons people watched was to see the interactions between him and Jen. Then he got a new girlfriend, Kouklista, and he kept her for a little while, but then eventually they broke up. And after this, he made several videos all like slandering her, calling her like a gold digger and saying that she was cheating. There were never any like super serious allegations, but he did make a lot of very like petty videos against her. And it was like, mini drama. Matt Hosszone. He's a YouTuber who made unfunny sketches, sexist sketches, and videos about like self-enlightenment from the mind of him, a pseudo-intellectual. But the main reason he's on this iceberg, from what I can tell, is the fact that the YouTuber H3H3 reacted to Matt Hoszone's videos and made fun of him, to which Matt Hosszone attempted to sue H3H3. And this court case was considered a landmark court case, as if Matt Hosszone had won, it would have been disastrous for the rest of YouTube and effectively killed the reaction genre, and it would have just caused a bunch of problems. And thankfully, he didn't win, though. H3H3 won, and Matt Hosszone has since pretty much stopped uploading videos, and his channel has withered down into pretty much nothing. My Snowboarding Skillz, spelled with a Z at the end instead of an S. This was the second video ever uploaded to YouTube, uploaded only a few hours after me at the zoo. As for what the actual contents of the video are, it's just 11 seconds of a guy filming another guy snowboarding, and then he gets onto one of those ramps that you can snowboard on, and then falls off of it, and then gets back up, and that's the whole video. The video is uploaded by the YouTube channel MV, which has uploaded nothing else, and despite this being such a monumental video in YouTube's history, nobody knows who's uploaded it to this day. I mean, it was probably one of Javid's friends, because, why else would it be the second video ever uploaded to the platform? But, it could be, I guess it could be some random guy. Angry video game nerd. Okay, why is it this far down? Everyone knows what an angry video game nerd is. It's a YouTube channel that reviews video games, and it had a very high production quality for the time, and because of this, it ended up very heavily inspiring basically all YouTube content that came after it. And it most notably inspired review genre and kind of sparked a subgenre of like angry reviewers, most notably the Nostalgia Critic. And he still makes videos to this day. Shadow banning. Shadow banning is a problem on pretty much every social media website, not just YouTube. And it's pretty self-explanatory in its name. It's when a website bans someone without telling them and without their knowledge. Like, for example, if they were to shadow ban, say, Mr. Beast, I mean, they obviously never would, but this is a hypothetical example. If they were to shadow ban Mr. Beast, they would make it so that when you search Mr. Beast, he won't come up, but they wouldn't actively tell Mr. Beast and strike his channel in such a way that he'd be banned. Niga Haega. I'm not risking it with that name. This is a YouTuber who he's mostly stopped uploading videos, or at least he's been on a couple year long hiatus. I think it's 2 years now. But he used to be the most subscribed channel on YouTube between 2009 to 2011, and he was known for making a bunch of comedy sketches. Sketches which, of course, I had to rewatch some of for the purposes of this video, and I have to say, they still hold up. They're really good. Especially his conspiracy theory series, where he just, like, makes fun of conspiracy theorists and all basically builds his entire videos up to just one massive pun. They are actually really good, and you should watch them. Ask a Mortician. This is a YouTube channel in a very similar vein to channels like Dr. Mike, which are like person who works in blank profession and reacts to various things related to profession. But of course, the difference here is that, it's her job is being a mortician, and so naturally her channel has much darker subject material on it that she talks about. Her channel covers various things like, fun facts about maybe not so fun facts, but facts about like funerals and the after unalive processes. She talks about like the politics of things that happened after unalivement. She talks about like famous unalive people throughout history. Yeah, just various things like that. I have a bad case of diarrhea. This is a clip taken from this video, which is meant to teach Japanese people how to speak English, and it does so through a group of women dancing while singing out what to say. And yeah, this one clip, it kind of speaks for itself.
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
My video for Briona. This is a video created by a teenage boy named Dominic, who was in a relationship with one of his classmates named Briona. And he wanted to send Briona a video, basically like talking to her and saying that everything was going to be okay and that he loved her. But it was too big to send through email, so I uploaded it to YouTube, but for whatever reason didn't make it unlisted, so anyone was free to see it. And the video is extremely cringy and even extremely creepy. Like watching the video and even knowing that the two of them were in a relationship, it still somehow emulates just pure incel energy. He's also shirtless for the whole thing, which just makes it even more uncomfortable. He also keeps calling Brianna baby girl, which just ew, no. But yeah, surprisingly, Brianna actually liked the video, but both of them received a lot of criticism because she made another video like responding to him, and both of them received a lot of criticism, but also a lot of hate comments, and had to disable the comments for the videos. Hashtag YouTube is over party. This was a phrase that was trending in 2019 when YouTube was trying to create two major changes. The first of which being its increase of the censorship of quote-unquote content that harassed other people. Except, of course, with the increase in censorship, this also meant that a lot of actual legitimate criticisms were being deleted and censored in the process, most notably Content Cop. And the other major change was COPPA, which, remember, this was still at the time when COPPA was worded terribly, and the phrasing of the law made it look like pretty much any video that had any character remotely family-friendly could be just completely demonetized. And people truly thought this was going to be the end of the platform. And, nothing happened, just like always. Felix Colgrave. Felix Colgrave is a YouTube animator. And being an animator, this means that he uploads at a very inconsistent and low frequency. With at the time of this video being uploaded, only 29 videos on his channel in his 12 years of being on the platform. However, what he makes up for, what he lacks in quantity, he definitely makes up for in quality. His videos are mostly only like a few minutes long, and they're these really surreal, I wouldn't say disturbing, some of them definitely can be at times, but they're more so just surreal and weird videos. They kind of remind me of like that trippy Beatles movie, the Yellow Submarine Beatles movie, but if it was actually well animated. That's really going for the topical references here on this channel. But yeah, his most well-known video is one titled Double King, which is almost 10 minutes long. And it's this video about like this little blob guy who's a king, and he starts going after all these other kings and trying to steal their crowns until eventually he ends up unaliving himself and then tries to steal a crown from the king of the dead. And then he also has a few other longer animations, throat noises, which is like 7 minutes long is a video about all these creatures that are like trying to steal the voices from one another. And Doinks, his most recent upload only a month ago. I genuinely have no idea what it's about, but it's like these parts that are all at the bottom of the sea that are like merging into these various different creatures, all formed out of different parts. But yeah, he's a good animator and he makes some mildly disturbing content. You should go check him out. Oh, and also I should probably say the thing he's most well known for is in Double King. There's like this mushroom that points a spear and he goes "ee," and that's what he's most well known for. Have you ever had a dream like this? This is a very well-known meme which originates from a blooper segment in the after credits of this Goodnight Moon movie featuring a bunch of like kindergartners.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Old channel layout. There are actually multiple old channel layouts, as YouTube's channel layout has changed multiple times in minor ways throughout the almost 20 years that YouTube's existed for, with it being changed most recently as far back as 2021. But that being said, it used to be extremely different to what we know. With it, instead of sort of filling up the entire screen as it does, it would just be like compressed into one gray brick in the center of the screen, lapped over a background, which you could just like, I think you could customize. And in addition to this, they also allowed you to see all the comments that a YouTube channel had made on the YouTube channel's channel page. And all the information of the channel was organized in basically one tab. There weren't like, multiple tabs you could switch through, like a home tab and a video tab. It was all just kind of laid out. You used to be able to see all of the YouTube channel's featured channels listed off on the side. There were a bunch of minor changes like that all just kind of added up to make it greatly different from what we know today. Interesting. ... This was the first spam comment ever posted to YouTube. It was posted in the comment section of Me at the Zoo by the YouTube user Colbartgroove, and inspired a reaction of people also saying interesting ... underneath the video as well. This comment was later deleted by YouTube in 2013 when Google reinforced the anti-spam policies. Leek Spin. This is another early YouTube viral video / old internet meme, except this one's specifically centered around the anime community and was one of like the earliest memes there. It's like this gif of an anime girl that's spinning around a leek, as you can imagine, set to the song Ivan Polka. I don't know how you pronounce it. And there were a bunch of different remixes of this, versions of it with different songs, parodies of it. And one of the parodies that got super famous was one that featured Hatsune Miku. And so this video is like, this meme is credited as being what caused Hatsune Miku to become popular in the Anglosphere. Kool Aid Unaliver. So this is a parody horror movie trailer, which is for like a fake horror movie about the Kool Aid Man. Because, if you apply the logic of the Kool Aid Man to real life, it would be really disturbing if this guy like just burst into your house by saying, "Oh yeah." And so they made this parody horror movie trailer, which obviously, like, to an adult, it's not scary at all. It is honestly kind of funny because it's about a horror movie about the Kool Aid Man, but a bunch of kids saw this, and kids being kids actually got scared by it. Also, the effects on it did not age super well. Evil Elmo and Evil Barney. For whatever reason, during like the late early 2000s and early 2010s, there were like a bunch of videos of like Barney and Elmo, but edited to be evil and spooky. Again, these edits are super low quality, and by today's standards, they just look hilarious just based on how poor quality they are. But back in the day, a bunch of kids watched these and they thought that these videos and spreading these rumors about like Elmo and Barney coming to your house to unalive you were real. And so a bunch of kids got scared. I'm sure creepypastas probably didn't help with that. Timothy Wilkes. Timothy Wilkes was a prank YouTuber who attempted to perform a prank in which he would pretend to rob someone, that someone being David Starnes Jr., and he pretended to rob them using a butcher knife. This led to the man, David, being scared by the man and thinking it was a real robbery, and sadly, he shot Timothy fatally. Ray William Johnson /3. Ray William Johnson was another YouTuber who was very important in the development of modern YouTube and how it works, and the types of content that you see on it. He was the most subscribed channel on YouTube between mid-2011 to early 2013. The two things he's most well known for are =3, which is a series where he basically just reacts to other videos that have gone viral and adds sassy commentary to it, and Your Favorite Martian, which is an animated comedy band. Eventually, he partnered with Maker Studio, and between that and the fact that he was gradually losing, passion for making =3, he eventually sold the series off to someone else, and from there, it gradually just declined in viewers and changed host multiple times until it just shriveled up and phased out of existence, pretty much. Ray William Johnson now makes TikToks and YouTube Shorts. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas myth videos. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is a sprawling open-world game, and it was one of the most popular open-world games at the time, especially amongst younger demographics. And because of the combination of this and the fact that it was just a lot easier to spread rumors on the internet around that around the late early 2000s, early 2010s, a lot of rumors spread about the game. These rumors ranging from Bigfoot being in it, to aliens, to serial unalivers, to the Loch Ness Monster, the list goes on and on and on. And people would try to prove these rumors, and they would create YouTube videos to do this using mods. And because of this, a lot of kids actually believed that these were in the game. And one of these rumors, the one about Bigfoot, got so big that Rockstar actually added Bigfoot in the next GTA game. Smosh. Smosh is another YouTube channel that was really important in the development of modern YouTube content and how YouTubers behave. When YouTube started keeping track of how many subscribers different channels had, Smosh was the first subscriber to be the most subscribed channel on YouTube with only around 3,000 subscribers. Granted, they only held this for 18 days, but they regained the title in 2007 and kept it for a year. And then they lost it again, but they eventually did regain it in 2013 and then lost it around half a year later to PewDiePie. The channel was formed by two brothers who would make these random comedy skits, which were, if we're being realistic, probably that had the biggest impact on YouTube humor in the future. And as the channel grew, they gradually added more and more people to it until eventually it became more of a brand, like a sort of a group of people producing content than just two YouTubers. Recently, Anthony, one of the two brothers that started Smosh, left and started his own YouTube channel where he interviews people, and Leslie leaving the rest of Smosh to kind of be on their own. They almost went bankrupt, but thankfully they got bought by Good Mythical Morning, and now the two of them work together to make content. And for the final entry of this part, the second part of the third tier of the longest YouTube iceberg, deepest YouTube iceberg, whatever the hell I called it, the longest video on YouTube, 596.5 hours. Okay, so YouTube nowadays has a limit to how long videos can be, that limit being 12 hours. But in 2011, they did not have that limit. So someone took advantage of that to upload a, 596.5 hour long video, which is just of a black square. This video has been deleted fairly recently because I can find videos of said video talking about said video as early as a year ago, and this iceberg lists what videos are on it are deleted, and this specific entry is not listed as being deleted. So for whatever reason it's been deleted, I'd imagine that's probably because it's just taking up data and space. I mean, that's why they put the 12-hour cap to begin with, but if that were the case, why did they wait over a decade to delete it? Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering, 596.5 hours translates to 24 days long. I have been able to find an archive of this video on the Internet Archive. That being said, it has some problems running. And now that I'm actually looking at that archive because it's finally loaded, I can see that it's actually a black square with it's actually a white square with some black on the top or bottom, and it keeps shifting between the top and bottom. So nowadays, with that video being deleted, the longest video on YouTube is one titled 223 hour video. 223 hours video. And this video was only uploaded 2 years ago. I have no idea how they made this video, like how they got past the 12-hour time limit. They probably work for YouTube or something, but the actual video is not a black screen. Rather, it's a slowed down version of the F25. I'm going to press the F25 key meme. Oh, and in case you're wondering, 223 hours translates to around 9 days. So, not quite as long as the longest video. Okay, that concludes the second part of the third tier of the massive YouTube iceberg. I'm getting close. I'm getting really close to finishing this third tier. And I'm sorry that these uploads are taking a while, but hopefully things should be a lot faster once I get to the fourth tier, because the fourth tier is finally where we get to shit that I like, that's actually interesting, that I care about. Also, there are a lot less entries. The third tier is the longest tier of the iceberg by far. Though granted, a lot of these things were really short and simple to talk about, so I don't know how this will translate. But my point is, it will take a lot. It'll be a lot shorter for me to research the following tiers because I'm actually interested in the majority of what's within the following tiers. Unlike these first three tiers, where I didn't really care about most of what was on the first tier. Actively hated a lot of the drama and controversy on the second tier, and the third tier was about half interesting and half just here's a random viral video. But we're close. One more, and by the way, I'm already through with like half of the final part of the third tier. We're so close. Okay, as usual, if I got anything wrong, leave that in the comments. Okay, bye.